Hello, hello, hello. Are we online yet? Oh, perfect. We are live yet. No idea how to. I need to send out. Yo, Twitter notice. I actually did not send a Twitter notice today, which is sucks because I normally have to. Jesus Christ. This is literally us coming on live immediately. No, like nothing back and forth, no information whatsoever. People who know. So let me just go live quickly. Hold on. Hey Bliss, how are you doing? I am going. So this is literally just starting right now. So I didn't do background prep because I was in Arun Anav's like stream. Ignore me. I was just randomly chatting. So I'm just going to put the notification on Twitter and I will be right there with you. Could you create a message for the join Discord, please, so I can pin it? That would be actually quite helpful. So I don't have. Is the link to this thing? Perfect. So I was meaning to ask you this. Yes. What were you meaning to ask me? The Discord link? Yes. It's mostly just iDiscord. Just tell me today. See, guys, we recently got affiliated. So make sure to tell me what is your opinion on the advertisements and whatnot. I have no idea how they work. I don't know what advertisements they are going to give. We are just trying it out for now. We might stop advertising whatsoever for today, like forever, if it doesn't go well. So tell me now. This is a Sunday, so it's fine. It's whatever. It's okay. No worries. Okay. Perfect. We have some new followers thanks to Arun Anav. So thank you very much, my guy. And I welcome new people. How you doing? This is not that side of a community. I just didn't like put any notification that we are starting. Anyway, I usually put a notification or there is, we are normally on a roll, but it's fine, whatever. Do I look proper? My consultant made me a new email. Made a new email and used that to appointment my email application. Yeah. Especially the one my Twitter is using. So should I or nuke? I mean, you can just pause your Twitter just to be sure. You don't have to nuke it. like, is your, like, just Google your name and check if your Twitter shows up. If it does, nuke it. If it doesn't, whatever. See, they start with Googling your name. They don't exactly start with, they don't exactly start with like whatever. Like just email. They Google your name. So make sure to have, if you have your name on there, just make sure that your name is, what's the fucking word for it? Your name is like, if you find it by your name. No, just put your name in Google and check if your Twitter shows up. If it does, they might get the, like, see, someone with your name and then you are this big person, they are going to be like, oh, is this you? Then you have to prove that it's not you. So might as well be clear, sure. They're not really going to check. Let me just. I'm just going to Google your name and let you know if that's going to be a problem. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's actually fine. You don't have to nuke it if it's a different email now. You're fine. There's thousands of people by your name anyway. You don't, so, but I would still suggest to remove Twitter from your phone. Just so you go to, when do you go to the interview? Just don't download it. If they ask you to be like, hey, can you log in? Just tell them you don't have a Twitter. Easy peasy. So like, and like, because then you'll download Twitter, they'll ask you like, do you want to sign up? And you just sign up a new one on spot. No. They'll ask you from someone else's phone, right? Like their own phone. Like, hey, here. If they want to check, the background check is going to happen anyway. So make sure your actual email is nowhere. Like have a secondary email for everything. That's what I do. Not just like, what's the word for it? Not in the sense, like I have like two work email is separate. My YouTube, Twitch email is separate. My work email with respect to this whole thing is separate. So, I mean, it's all of it is separated. Everything is fine. So we don't have to worry too much about it. Yeah, anyway. So first things first, we are going to actually have to wait for people because it's just you, Bliss, and me. It's gonna be okay. We recently got affiliated, so you might be seeing like an ad here and there, which is, do I have to manually remove these ads from here? Yeah. It would have, yeah, if it was your OG email, it would have been an issue. But if it's not, it's not. It doesn't matter right now. It's perfectly fine. I'm still worried about how these ads are going to look. But while there's no one here, technically, do you mind if I play an ad right now? So just check what is showing up. So because this is like new for us. And just check if it also shows up on YouTube. Like, okay, the ad is in progress. Where's my... Okay, perfect. Did it go? What was this about there? So what was the ad about? How did it not show ad? I just ran an ad. On Twitch. What was the ad? You Hey guys, if you're new here, do like, share, and subscribe. Do not forget, we will be starting soon anyway. This is just chatting. We recently got affiliated like today, so I was just like, okay, let me just try and run an ad. How that works? I'm just asking my dear mod how things are going. Did it not show up at all? I Jesus Christ. Fine, whatever. Whatever. When it runs, it runs. I don't care anymore. I'm not just gonna run 2 ads back to back for just checking. That's stupid. The new channel settings are fun though. The new settings that you get here are fun. Hold on, where is this? Okay, that's done. That's done. Why are people still ranting? Jesus Christ. Once you... Oh my fucking God. Like literally, once you got them go viral on Twitter, it is just an unstoppable amount of notifications back to back to back from the people you'd never want to hear from. Sangis. Where is the actual news that we are getting to? Yeah, there you go. So, guys, okay, now, fine. I'm gonna run an ad, okay? Listen, I'm gonna run an ad. Please, oh, we have people here. I don't want to run an ad for people. Like, forget it. We are not doing this testing right now. God damn it. We have enough. We have 5 people. I like 5 people. I'm gonna start with the damn news right now. I don't care. You know that, and to that just check the reply here. Everything got silented out for some reason. God damn it. Anyway, fine, whatever. Let's just start. There has been a there has been an amendment to the trans bill recently. If you saw yesterday's entire stream, you would know. The current video is also out of just the interview, so you should go watch it after the stream. Let me just show you quickly. How do I show you quickly? Hold on. I am stupid. I should have brought this up earlier, but I didn't. So let me just show you quickly. Videos. Oh, it is not listed. Okay. Let me just change it. No, okay. So it's not listed. I'm waiting for a friend to confirm whether or not it is okay for them. But okay, there is going to be a video here. There's going to be a video. There's this live interview that we did here with Muskan. She is absolutely amazing. Go watch it when you're done. Okay? Go watch it when you're done. If you want all of the information from an extremely intelligent source who is also a lawyer, that is Muskan for you. Go watch it. On that note, there has been multiple laws that have been currently taken out or have been suppressed for the past few days, which have negatively affected the trans community overall. You have to understand that this is an extremely sensitive topic because they have been oppressed throughout the whole history of India. Since beginning of India, trans community has been oppressed one way or the other. This is another thing. The thing that they fought for in 2019 of self-determination of sex has also been removed in the new bill. So rather than me giving you a prachar as I normally do, we are going to watch a print video over this. I'm gonna pause in the middle here and there discussing the issue. We did the interview yesterday as well. I am not going to run the interview over here. You have to go and watch it later. The interview is amazing because our guest was amazing.
on Friday could fundamentally change who the Indian state recognizes as transgender and who it doesn't. The Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Amendment Bill 2026 was tabled in the Lok Sabha by Social Justice Minister Virendra Kumar. And while the government says it's about bringing clarity to a vague law, critics say it could quietly dismantle right that took years.
The they dismantled it already. It's not quietly, it's not whatever. It dismantled it. I don't know why the print is saying it's quietly, but it dismantled it altogether.
Of struggle to win. I'm Vrinda Tulsian, and you're watching The Print. To understand what's changed and why it matters, we need to go back to where this all began. It's 2014. The Supreme Court delivers what becomes known as the Nalsa Judgment, a landmark ruling that recognizes transgender persons as a third gender, directs the government to provide reservations and welfare measures, and crucially holds that a person has the right to self identify their gender. No surgery required, no medical certificate, no government approval. The court said the Constitution guarantees it. That judgment set the stage for legislation, but getting a law passed took 5 more years, and they weren't smooth years. A 2016 version of the bill was met with protest from the transgender communities across the country. The core objection, it required a district magistrate to certify whether someone was transgender.
So they have reintroduced it right now. It is absolute shit. I might remind you, it is absolute shit. They have reintroduced this again. You, first of all, I cannot begin to tell you that how bad this is. Like, they fought for this in the 2019 NALSA judgment. They got it removed. There was no state registration, whatever. There were still issues within this that the district magistrate, even with self assertions that they were trans, would not give them the identity cards. And now we are back to square one. We're literally back to square one.
Activists said that handed a bureaucrat the power to decide something the Supreme Court had said was a fundamental right. After sustained pressure, the bill was revised. The Transgender Persons Protections of Right Act was finally passed in 2019. It was imperfect. Many in the community still had reservations, but it represented a floor, a legal baseline. It defined transgender persons broadly. Anyone whose gender doesn't match the gender assigned at birth, including trans men, trans women, genderqueer individuals, those with intersex variations, and those with socio-cultural identities like Hijra, Kinnar, Aravani, and Jogta. And it explicitly said under Section 4, Part 2, that a recognized transgender person has a right to a self-perceived gender identity. That section is now proposed to be deleted. So, what exactly does the 2026 amendment propose? There are three major changes worth unpacking: the definition, the procedures, and the penalties. Under the new bill, the term transgender person would be restricted to two categories. First, people with specific socio-cultural identities, Hijra, Kinnar, Aravani, Jogta, eunuch, or people born with
See, this also, what it does is basically it tells you that you cannot be more than these four categories as a trans person, which is absolute bullshit. You can choose not to be part of these communities. Plus, as Muskan had said yesterday, they also have an issue here that trans communities are not monotonous, like, sorry, homogeneous across the country. There are multiple variations of the same trans community, and now these communities under a different name in the south, in the northeast, are not going to get the protections. They're going to have to go become the trans community of the north. Like, talk about Hindification of even the transgender community.
medically recognized intersex variations. Variations in chromosomes, genitalia, hormones, gonadal development, biological markers, in other words. Second, and this is the part that's unusual, the bill also defines as a transgender person anyone who has been forcibly made to assume a transgender identity. Someone abducted, mutilated, castrated, subjected to hormonal procedures against their will. This is clearly aimed at a documented pattern of trafficking and coercion, particularly involving the Hijra community. But here's what falls outside the new definition: trans men, trans women, genderqueer individuals, and anyone whose identity is self perceived rather than biologically or culturally determined. The bill's statement of objects and reasons puts it plainly. Protection under this act is for those facing exclusion due to biological reasons for no fault and no choice of their own. And it goes
So, by the way, this also kind of says that the trans community cannot be trans by choice within this paragraph. It can be assumed that every trans person is there because trans people are trans out of choice or by getting duped into it. That's also a problem. If you go through the objectives and reasons, it is absolutely horrendous. The categorization of the trans community has so narrowed down that they are trying to create a minority within a minority.
Further, the definition shall not include, and it says shall never have been so included, persons with different sexual orientations or self perceived sexual identities. That last phrase is significant. It's not just prospective, it's retrospective. The government is not just changing the law going forward, it's saying this is what the law always meant. That raises an immediate legal question. Hundreds of people have already obtained identity certificates under the 2019 Act on the basis of self identification. What happens to them? The bill doesn't say. And constitutional law experts are already asking whether a retrospective redefinition of this kind can survive judicial scrutiny, particularly given that the Supreme Court.
Hopefully not, but the point is to avoid it to reach judicial scrutiny. If it reaches judicial scrutiny, it means it is going to be in operation at least for a few times. Sorry, few days, which means certain trans communities are going to be left out. Certain trans people are going to be left out or going to be oppressed or going to be within the minorities. What is happening to my voice today? I have no idea.
NALSA judgment, which has never been overturned, explicitly recognized self perceived gender identity as a constitutional right. Now to the procedural changes, and here too there's a gatekeeping concern. Under the existing law, a person applies to a district magistrate for an identity certificate. The 2026 bill inserts a new step, a medical board, headed by a chief medical officer or deputy chief medical officer, whose recommendation the district magistrate must examine before issuing the certificate. The magistrate can also bring in additional medical experts if they deem it necessary. Transgender rights lawyers point out that this is almost precisely the kind of medical gatekeeping the Supreme Court warned against in NALSA. The court said gender identity is a matter of self determination, not medical diagnosis. On the other side of the ledger, there is one procedural gain in the bill. A person issued an identity certificate will now have the explicit right to change their first name in their birth certificate and all official documents. That's a practical fix to a gap that had caused real problems. People caught in administrative limbo with mismatched documents. The third major area is penalties, and here the government has a stronger case to make.
No, they do not have a stronger case to make. They really do not have a stronger case to make. We spoke about this yesterday. It is said by the eminent lawyer in front of us. And I'm being very clear. I'm like a very big fan of this person now. That because the limitations of any punishment are limited from 6 months to 2 years, while the same applicable for a cis person is up till 10 years, is a huge problem.
Make. The 2019 Act prescribed a maximum of 2 years in prison for offenses against transgender persons, forced labor, denial of access to public spaces, physical abuse, sexual abuse, economic abuse. 2 years across the board, regardless of the severity of the act. The 2026 amendment retains a 2 year ceiling for those existing offenses, but builds an entirely new layer of serious crimes on top. If someone kidnaps an adult and causes grievous bodily harm through mutilation, castration, surgery, or hormonal procedures with the intent of forcing them to assume a transgender identity, the minimum sentence is 10 years. The maximum is life. The minimum fine is 2 lakh rupees. For the same offense against a child, the sentence is life imprisonment, mandatory. The minimum fine is 5 lakh rupees. Compelling anyone through force or deception to present as transgender and then exploiting them through begging or servitude, 5 to 10 years of rigorous imprisonment. For children, 10 to 14 years. The government's reasoning is that existing law, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, the Juvenile Justice Act, addresses bits and pieces of these wrongs separately, but no provision treats the full combination of abduction, bodily harm, and forced identity assumption as a single unified offense. The amendment creates that unified offense. But there is a tension that legal observers have noted. The bill creates life imprisonment for forcing someone into transgender identity. It still caps punishment at 2 years for physically or sexually abusing an actual transgender person. That disparity is likely to face hard questions in the parliament. Here's where things stand. The bill has been introduced, it hasn't been passed, it will now go through the legislative process, committee, scrutiny, debate, and a vote. What's already clear is that this amendment is not a minor technical fix. It touches the definitional core of the 2019 Act, removes the right the Supreme Court said was constitutionally guaranteed, adds a layer of medical authority over identity recognition, and creates a new criminal framework with punishments ranging from 6 months to life. The government says it is targeting benefits more precisely and building stronger protections against coercion. Its critics say it is using the language of protection to narrow who deserves it. 7 years ago, the Nalsa judgment told the Indian state that every person has the right to define themselves. The question this bill puts before Parliament is whether that right still stands.
So they are trying to remove that right, by the way. That is the goal here, is to remove that right from NALSA for self-identification as a trans person. There is literally no reason for anyone to do this. There is no reason. Like, no one is going to go out and get a transgender card out of nowhere. Just to be clear, whatever they are saying is absolutely false. That being said, there have been multiple protests that have been organized today and are available to go to tomorrow. So, not sorry. See, this was a protest that happened in Rise and Rage Against Transgender Person Amendment. This happened in Hyderabad with University of Hyderabad main gate at 5 p.m. today. If you were here, good. Thank you. And if you weren't, be there tomorrow. To all the people from Hyderabad who may be listening, go here. Go here. This is required. They have been organizing. People have been organizing. Do not forget, join them. This is a cause for all of us. What happens to trans people today determines what happens to you to you tomorrow. Never forget. Never forget. I love this. Guys, go here tomorrow. Don't forget. This is again happening again. Do not forget. If you are in Hyderabad, if you are in Pune, if you are in Mumbai or Delhi or any of those big places, go here. Go show your support. It is extremely important. Again, there's still more protests going on. One of the same pictures from the same place. There is, oh, hold on. This is absolute shit, the idiot. So there is also a call to, I think this is happening right now. This is a press conference, reject trans amendment bill. This is on 16th of March at 3 p.m. Hopefully we will be able to cover it live. But make sure to be part of it. Sign up here. The person's name is Grace Banu. I will just share the link on Discord. If you're on Discord, you'll get it. If you're here, just look at the chat. I don't know how, if you're like rewatching this on YouTube, I don't know how to get it to you. So it is better if you just join the Discord. Or maybe I can leave it in the comments later. I don't know. Again, very new to doing this. Later. Restore right to self-decision. UHO students protest trans amendment bill. Guys, be here. Be here tomorrow as well. Several students at the University of Hyderabad, UHO, held a protest on Saturday, March 14, condemning the introduction of the Transgender Persons Bill 2026 in the Lok Sabha on March 12th by the Union Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, Virendra Kumar. The bill seeks to amend the Transgender Persons Protection Act 2019, among other key changes, removing transgender person right to self-perceived identity and altering definition of who a transgender person is. See, the reason why this is important is because you as a person can decide if you're male or female. I mean, it's given to you. But again, you don't have to go prove to someone that you're male or female. So why a transgender person has to? Why? I don't, like, ask yourself. If they are saying they are trans, they are trans. Give them the ID and move on. UHO Queer Collective Sexual and Gender Alliance, Saga, said that in a statement that taking away the right to self-determination and reduction of medical board appointments by the government is a gross invasion of privacy and gruesome attempt towards policing of transgender bodies. The new bill says that the existing vague definition of the term transgender person makes it impossible to identify genuine oppressed people to whom the benefits of the act are intended. So this is an absolute bullshit argument. It is an absolute bullshit argument. This argument is used by the people who do not want to provide freedoms to people. There is no actual study that states that people are misusing the trans name. There is none whatsoever. The bill proposes a new definition of a person having a socio-cultural identity as Skinner, Hijra, Aravani, and Yokta. Again, because they are limited to this, and Unix or a person of intersex variation, which has somehow separated altogether, because they have limited it to this, the problem that ends up happening here is that southern trans people are left out. Either they have to take up identities of northern trans people, be part of north trans communities, or they don't get a say, like they don't get a card apparently. This is the same with northeastern. The communities are called inherent differently because language difference. Saga also said that such definitions conflate transgender and intersex identities, which is not similar, reducing trans identity to an incomplete biological perspective. This goes against the current scientific consensus and undoes progress that has been achieved by relentless effort by the community. This has been going on for a very long time. The efforts have been going on in the background, even if you may or may not know about it. There were protests in 2019, there were protests in 2016. There were protests nearly every single year to get basic rights for people. Basic rights to be respected at a doctor's office, to get respect in the streets, to get a job without being discriminated against. And these things still happen, which is horrendous to begin with. But now they are just trying to remove even more protections from people. It is just stupid. There is nothing you can say to justify this. I am here trying to defend something that does not need to be defended. This should be basic knowledge. This should be basics of empathy. Jesus Christ. Bill also includes following definitions. So any person or child who has been forced. So this is extremely stupid here. The reason why I'm saying this is stupid here is because they are going to say that everyone is forced. So you get, and to be not forced, you get like certificates from your mother and father, which a lot of transgender people who have been kicked out from their family homes by their parents for their trans identity will not be able to get. That's why this is such a big issue. iDiscord works on YouTube. I don't know why you did iDiscord, but fine. It's cool. Tag also called the language dehumanizing, demonizing, and infantilizing, and an attempt to portray trans people in a negative light. Yes. Like it in the objectives and results. This was objectives and reasons. It was horrendously portrayed. They are trying to minimize the trans community further. They're trying to create minorities within minorities and have trans people fight other trans people for identification, basically, at this point. It's like what they do with the OBCs. So like they want like half of the trans people to support the Hindutva narrative because like they can fight the other half that are not included. But I don't think they understand what trans community represents and what a broader LGBTQ community represents, where if you are not intersectional, you are not technically part of the community, because every community is intersectional within the LGBTQ broad movement. And there's again, I mean, I'm not talking about gays that are against trans or lesbians who are against trans. That's just absolutely stupid. Like, Jesus Christ. Plus, here, there's also a very horrendous assumption that the trans community is our only male to female trans community. Like, trans femme communities are only assumed to be there, not trans mask, which is another issue within this. Again, see, I don't know. I don't know how to explain this to you. First of all, because as well, Muskan covered it yesterday, but there's also because this thing is so basic. It's like me trying to explain to you how to add 1+1. Obviously, you're supposed to respect trans people. Obviously, you're supposed to respect everyone. This is part of respect. Giving them the position of someone equal. Hell, give them also the right to marry. Goddamn, I don't know why they don't have the right to marry, which is absolute bullshit. I have so much issues. Again, I'm gonna try and look for more protests that you can go to. There's another protest happening like every other day. Make sure to be part of it, okay? Make sure to be part of it. It is absolutely important for you to be part of it, for us to be part of it. I'm gonna live stream a lot of the protest shit, but right now, the only thing that I'm gonna find is what I've shown. Anyway, the other thing that we are going to talk about is Modi ji. And Modi ji, this is discussion from a very long time ago.
17वीं लोकसभा के सभी माननीय सांसदों ने ट्रांसजेंडर्स के प्रति भी संवेदना जताई और आज दुनिया के अंदर जब
This is him trying to get votes from transgender people without giving them the required I don't know, what do you say, required rights as a human being.
भारत ने ट्रांसजेंडर के लिए किए हुए काम है, जो निर्णय किए हैं, इसकी चर्चा है. दुनिया के समृद्ध देशों को भी आश्चर्य होता है. अच्छा, यानी ये प्रोग्रेसिव.
Reservation is not charity. Active Islam government denial of transgender reservation.
यहीं पर हुए हैं, इसी 17वीं लोकसभा में हुए हैं. हमने ट्रांसजेंडर को एक पहचान दी है. अब तक करीब 16-17 हजार.
I know this is absolutely horrendous. Yes, I know everyone's angry. Jesus, I get angry. I can't speak properly. This is how you know I'm actually angry.
ट्रांसजेंडर को उनका आइडेंटिटी कार्ड दिया गया है ताकि उनके जीवन को, और मैंने देखा अब तो मुद्रा योजना से पैसे लेकर के छोटा मोटा वो बिजनेस करने लगी, वो कमाने लगी है. पद्मा अवार्ड हमने ट्रांसजेंडर को दिया है.
He is just like, look what we have done for you. That is absolute basics of what you should be doing. Horrendous.
सम्मान की जिंदगी जीने के लिए सरकार से जुड़ी अनेक योजनाओं का लाभ जो अब तक उनको मिलता नहीं था, मिलना प्रारंभ हुआ है. 17वीं लोकसभा के सभी माननीय सांसदों ने.
The world is discussing about things India has done to transgender people when wealthy countries are shocked. PM claims while whitewashing Indian government's apathy towards transgender communities. Yeah. Absolutely fucking hell. And then the transgender bill comes in. The amendment to the transgender bill, which is literally the worst thing you can find, to be honest with you. At this point, everyone needs to get out on the fucking road to protest this. There is no reason why you should be at home right now. Just go. And then there is another whole shit going on the side where the government has been stopping YouTube channels, which is like they are closing down 4 p.m. news YouTube channel citing national security. National security for news that hasn't happened yet. National security apparently was also the reason why they shut down the Manwar Farouk's stand-up for jokes that never happened yet. The Union government has the blocking of YouTube channel 4 p.m. news on Thursday. Marshals citing national security and public order. See, this is why you need to subscribe to both our YouTube and Twitch. They can't do that shit on Twitch. This is why you need to share our vids. This is why you need to like and subscribe, especially on YouTube and now on also Twitch if you can afford it. Again, I won't ask you for any money. All I'm going to ask you is for a follow. If you want to share subs, please do. We are dependent on you anyway for everything else. Help me get a new chair. My chair sucks. Speaking of the wire, Sharma said that the email he received from YouTube provided no detailed explanation. It only stated the action was taken by the government's instruction citing national security and public order. Sharma has said that he believes that the actions may have been triggered by a recent video of his channel in which he interviewed Iranian Professor Abbas. He said that recently he had asked on his channel as to why the Indian government was behaving in a particular way towards Iran despite it being a friendly country, which is a valid question. The YouTube channel has been blocked only in India and can be viewed from abroad. Perfect, we'll watch it. This content is currently unavailable in this country because of an order from the government, national security or public order. For more details, Jesus, government transparency. Let's watch that video. Let's see what that video is. So, where is the Sanjay Sharma video? Let's go watch it right now. Let's go watch it right now. "4 p.m. news." Perfect. Are all his videos on 4 p.m.? Is that the reason why? I wish he didn't use AI though. Hold on, where is this video? Where's the interview? Jesus. This is the same guy? Yeah, this is the same. How are these? I cannot deal with Indian YouTube, guys. I cannot deal. Hey, how you doing? I just cannot deal with Indian YouTube. I'm trying to grab a video and I swear to you, all of these videos are just ugh. Is this the video with the Iranian professor that was banned in India? Oh, hey. How you doing? Oh, nice. I mean, I know of Dhruv Rathi. I don't know him personally, if that's what you're asking. Also, do subscribe if you can. It would be really nice to have you around. Thank you for coming. Do like. We are basically battling Sanghis right now. Most of the time. And Sanghi repression. So it is actually quite nice if you sub. No, I know of him. I don't know him personally. I know Dhruv Rathi. Every Indian worth his salt knows who Dhruv Rathi is, guys. He's one of the most popular Indian YouTubers out here. Like, yeah, I know who Dhruv Rathi is. I don't agree with everything he says, but I know who Dhruv Rathi is. Do sub. It would be nice. Did you check his Iran video? No, I did not. Hold on. Let's check it now. Apparently, because we are going to get to talking about a few different
Imagine
things.
being able to build.
Jesus, why is this happening? This shouldn't.
The minute the speaker comes into the house, Garima leaves the house.
So, like, which one are we talking about here? This one? Gas shortage. This one here, the one 7 days ago. Iran war.
नमस्कार दोस्तों,
to be fair with you.
अमेरिका और इजराइल के द्वारा शुरू की गई ये गल्फ वॉर अब इंडिया के दरवाजे पर पहुंच चुकी है। 4 मार्च सुबह की बात है। इंडियन ओशन में श्रीलंका के गोल शहर।
Okay, we covered this multiple times already. Let me just be clear. I do not know how to watch a Dhruv Rathi video. It's just my autism. it is just not for me, I guess. I'm like the extreme minority of this because he has 31.6 million subs.
शहर से करीब 40 नॉटिकल माइल्स दूर एक ईरानियन वॉरशिप चल रही थी, आयरिस डेना। सिर्फ 2 हफ्ते पहले ये जहाज
Guys, we covered this very, like, I have covered this like 3 times already, my friend. Go and check YouTube. We have done this like multiple times. I do not want to cover him right now, to be honest with you. We have done this so many times right now. Like, let me just show you. Like, this is our YouTube channel. Gas. Iran again. Iran. India and Israel. Thank you so much. We have... Oh, Bliss, you didn't have to. Jesus Christ. But thank you so much for doing it. Oh my God. Bliss is her first sub. She's also my mod. Guys, why did you sub? You do realize this is just... You're just cutting money from Amazon and getting it. Okay. Thank you, Bliss, for getting us started. 1 out of 10. Hype train, go on. Do you agree with Iran war though? Like, no, I do not. Like, there is no reason to invade Iran's sovereignty, especially for America. The reason why they did it to control the oil. There is no other reason. They don't give a shit. All of the arguments that they are making, we are doing this shit. Everything is falling. We are doing this for the people of Iran because they all want a change. That is not true. They also have this like, we are doing this because the Iranians government killed 1,000 people. These guys just shot up a school with 160 children inside. They have had a bigger death toll overall. I heard after the... Hold on, give me a second. I really need a better chair. I heard after the Muslim renewal, they would attack more aggressively. Yeah, I heard that too. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Right now, Israel and US are losing badly. So, which is... You never know what they are going to do. Or do you mean like Iran? They are trying to decapitate Iran so many times, but they just don't understand how Iranian government works actually. They have no idea how the Iranian government works. Yeah, no, don't believe that for now. Like, I want to believe it myself, like, to be very honest with you. It would be so funny if that happened. I swear if he's dead. The problem is that you can't trust that. You just can't trust that. The Israeli prime minister dying or not dying doesn't matter. See, the thing is, there are... Hold on. Can I allow... He has 6 fingers in the video. Sure, like this might be an AI video. This might be an AI video because he's in Germany or something. Because he has already fled. See, unless the government of Israel says that he has died, don't believe it for now. I understand. I understand very much the necessity for believing this. I very much understand how much joy it brings people. All I'm saying is all I'm going to say is that be careful on what you believe. There's a lot of shit that goes on in the background. You should not, I think, believe everything that is said on the internet, especially in the AI age. And as much of a good news it would be that the BB has gone to hell, as much as it would be a good news that BB has gone to hell, just there is always another worse person in line even if Ben Gavir has died. So I'm gonna be like, hold your horses before believing anything. They might use the death of Bibi as a way to just nuke Iran. Like, you never know. These are crazy bitches. Bro, I was here. Thank you very much. I was here for like every other day, my friend. Also, we got affiliated now. It is cool. I have more options in front of my screen. Also, I'm still waiting for you to tell me like the list of people that you want to invite to the discussion. Give me that. The only reason I can't do it is because I don't know. Yes, you wasn't. Sorry. Generally, like, I'm not gonna say anything. Generally, when Indians say that it's nice to see you again, it generally means, bitch, where have you been? So, again, as I was saying, don't believe it too much. Like, hey, don't believe it too much that he has died. Like, hold your horses. Like, for me and you who are like against the war, who are against oppression of Palestinians, Iranians, killing of Lebanese population, invading Lebanon, invading Syria, invading Iraq, which the Israeli population keeps and wants to do. It doesn't matter to us who is the head of it. It's like when I say in the Indian sense, even if you like unalive the current prime minister, or if he regretfully passes away due to a long illness in like 10 years or something, it's not going to change the dynamics here and there. I'm in the middle of making a mind, just want to make awesome product. Yes, bro, go for it. You are an amazing artist. You're an amazing artist. I also heard Iran gave India the oil, like they opened Strait of Hormuz to India only. Yeah, they did, and the oil, India kind of may have sent it back to America. I'm not joking. So the thing is, what happened was, I'll tell you, this actually kind of got popular. So let me just show this to you. Where is this? Where is this? Let me just show this to you. They want to do greater Israel. It is possible if they kill everyone. I don't want it to happen, let's be honest. So check this out. Do you see this here? So this was the original plan for the two Shivlink and Nanda Devi. They were both going to Jackson in Florida. So there's a very high chance that they never docked in India. They just left. But if you check it now, the government has changed it. Like, now the government has changed it to India. So it's like, I don't know what is happening. The government can, by the way, change what's the word for it? Change the log. So you never know. I mean, this government is not above lying to its citizens. So never forget that. So they might have actually... David Dexter, why is this saying that you're a new guy? You have... whatever. No, also, David Dexter, no. Greater Israel is not a possibility because there's a lot of different countries in the middle. But that is one of Israel's goals. They want it to happen eventually. So, which becomes a problem. That's why it is so important to actually push back against the current regime. Anyway, let's go to the other part that we're talking about. So India's GDP overstated by 2% since 2012 and 11-12. XEA Arvind. There's also on this thing here that we have been talking about this for a very long time. By the way, thank God it's in the news now.
saying that growth was poor or weak. We're just saying.
Also, yeah, if you're new here, do like, share, and subscribe. I know, David, you're not, but do like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube and Twitch. Always do never forget to actually share the stream. That is extremely important, and like the stream. The other thing that we are talking about, hey, yo, how is it going? Other thing is we have finally been affiliated. So if you want to support the channel, you can. I'm not going to tell you how much ever. It's fine. There's literally nothing set up in the background for you to be getting other than the stream, which are already free. So, but if you want to support the channel, you can. I don't even know how much donation it requires. I have no idea. Also, Aries God, how are you doing? How's it going? Please do subscribe if you can. It would be very nice. Also, if there is on Twitch, I think there is supposed to be an ad starting in 30 minutes. If you're still there by the time, let me know how it goes. This is literally the first day with AdSense. I'm not very comfortable having it. Let me be very clear to you. So I might just stop it. I just want to know. First time saw Indian guy? Really? No way, bruh. No way. There is Arun Anav. Okay, that's about it. I don't know anyone else. There is Kerry Minati. He's Indian, if you know him. Like, have you seen him? He got really famous a few years ago. Anyway, let's move on.
It was good, healthy, but not spectacular.
Oh, okay. Maybe not. Then maybe it's like the first Indian guy you have seen. But there's a few secret Indians where they are actually Americans, but they are from. Funny thing, to live in Russia, we now have no ads on Twitch and YouTube. That's so cool. That's good for you. That's amazing. Like no bother in like running any revanced or any type of that shit, I guess. Or like Brave browser.
And so a different way of saying this would be to phrase it would be to say, look, if you look at the official numbers, India was growing at, maybe the third or fourth fastest growing major economy in the world. And that was a source of national pride. What we say is that even if you adjusted along the lines that we're saying, India would be still amongst the top 7, 8, 9.
No, it does it? Does it? Really? Brave does? Maybe like revanced or something?
9 fastest growing countries in the world. So all we're saying is that national pride may yet be warranted, but it does not require a statistical crutch.
Hi, Russian 957. How are you doing? How's it going with you? We are talking about Indian GDP right now. Do sub if you can. It would be nice. We actually have, I think, Kovarene is also Russian. Kovarene is also Russian.
But you're saying two other very important things which I'll underline for the audience. The economy was doing well.
Yes, I know. I was just like Rene. I was like, I keep thinking I was going to say cow again. I'm trying not to say that. I'm really trying not to say cow again. I understand. It's just my brain is kind of fucked up. Yeah, Rene is fine. I know. You're a friend.
But not as well as we thought. And secondly, India should be proud of the fact that it was amongst the top 7 or 8 fastest growing economies, but it wasn't amongst the top 3 or 4. Those are two important correctives that should be underlined for the audience.
Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview.
Thanks. No, you don't have to do it for me. What do you usually talk on stream about? Politics. We usually talk about politics. We are still talking about politics. But this is more like a friendly, let's just chat kind of a stream anyway. So it's just like politics and a lot of banter going on.
On the wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, business.
So, okay, guys. Now, because we are affiliated, we have to be very careful. I have to say follow. So, follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube. That's it. I don't want your. If you want to sub, you can sub. It is your choice if you want to support the channel. And I'm only saying this again because I need to practice.
Scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us?
Yes,
All
please
you have to
support
do
us
is to click on the
and support
description
Wire if you
at the
can, if you're
bottom.
Indian.
But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your
Yes,
viewership
just go on,
means an
Jesus.
awful lot to me.
Wire. Last month, India introduced a new methodology for calculating GDP. Is it an improvement?
It is not an improvement. They have done this so many times. It is horrendous how many times they've actually changed the GDP to fit their narrative of growth. It's like they initially had a really tight way to actually check GDP, where they would not consider, like, informal sectors would be more stringent. In like 2015, they changed how it's calculated first, then 2016, then 2018, 2019, in 2020 they made it even easier. So the Indian GDP kept getting bloated and bloated and bloated.
On the older methodology, which has been frequently criticized? That's the first issue I shall raise today. Secondly, what were the problems with the old methodology?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Rene, thank you so much. Data is wrong. Yes, the data is wrong. The data is absolutely wrong. Even the IMF says so. India got a C in its data on how GDP is calculated. Around 40, we covered it, I think, in like November or something. 40% of Indian GDP is false. It is just blown out of proportions.
And did they mislead policy and planning? My guest today has written about this in an article in today's Indian Express. Joining me now to talk about it is former Chief Economic Advisor and presently a Senior Fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics, Arvind Subramanian. Mr. Subramanian's recent book, co-authored with Devesh Kapoor, A Sixth of Humanity, is on the list of the Financial Times best books of the year. Arvind Subramanian, I want to focus this interview on your conclusion about the old methodology for calculating GDP, where you have shown that there are very serious concerns and the methodology is clearly faulty. You've written about this in today's Indian Express. But before I come to that, let me ask you for your assessment of the new methodology for calculating GDP, which was introduced last month. How good, how inadequate is it?
So, first of all, thanks, Karan, for having me. When we think...
Does house prices calculated? Yes, everything is calculated. Anytime you make a... Hold on, what is this? Sorry. Anytime you make an exchange of monetary sense, it is calculated within the GDP. Holding a house will not be calculated in the GDP. Selling the house or buying a house will be. The issue here is that is the only consideration for a GDP. So, like, there is this, like, a very nice thing to understand what GDP actually means. That's why GDP is kind of bullshit. If there are three economists go to a forest, the first economist says, I need to poop. If you eat my poop, I'll give you $100. He poops. The other one eats it. He gives him $100. Now this guy is about near vomiting. He asks the third guy, if I vomit, would you drink it? I know this sounds very gross, but it is. And he says, yes, I'll give you $100. Takes it $100 from the other guy. Now he's feeling pukish and he's feeling poopish. He says the same thing to the initial guy. I'll give you $100 if you eat both. He does as said, and he gives the 100 back to the first guy, which he had originally. The exchange of total money has increased the GDP by $300 or rupees, whichever you want to calculate. That is the problem with GDP. GDP is not like how good an economy is doing, it is how much circulation the money is having. That is all a GDP is. You have to understand. That's the difference. Hey Hassan, how you doing? That is the issue with GDP. That is the problem. You have to be checking per capita income to actually check the health of an economy. Because if people, like within, let's say, capitalist system, if people don't have the power to actually buy something, your capitalist system fails. Good that it fails, but currently is devolving into authoritarianism, which is bad.
Think about the new methodology that's recently been introduced. On that methodology, we have now 3 growth numbers for 23-24, 24-25, and 25-26. So it's only 3 numbers we have so far. But one way of thinking about it is, the paper that we've written, we say is complementary with an I and complementary with an E to the new effort that the government has undertaken.
China का 5-year plan देखकर सो जाता हूँ. Yeah, you will have nice dreams and hope to be in China then later. Jesus Christ, their 5-year plans are extremely amazing. But again, I think the issue currently with China is it has to keep trading, so it can't take like a more moral stance. But fine, whatever, doesn't matter. Good for them. Also, by the way, good news, we got affiliated.
Revise the GDP. Complementary with an I, because actually, to the immense credit of the government, they have attempted to address the problems we've identified in the paper and identified by several others. Also commendable is that this effort has been very extensively consultative, and MOSPI and its secretary Saurabh Garg deserve a lot of credit for the way they've gone about it. That being said, because we only have 3 numbers, and even there, probably 1 or 2 of them use the full range of data sources, it's too early to tell. So they have attempted to address the deflator problem.
Even GDP by PPI is not scientific way to compare economics due to internal division of labor. Yes, exactly. Yes, you're on the mark. You're literally on the mark. That is so true. That is very true. That is very true. It is really not. That's the problem. But like at this point, it's like if you're speaking to people, because later on a lot of people watch this, if I get into like too much detail, they're not going to understand. It just becomes too mouthy at this point. But it is, I don't want to be too mouthy. That is the problem. If I am too mouthy and if I am too explainy about these things, Sanghis are not going to watch, or other people who are normies are not going to watch. I know all of you. You guys read your shit. You guys read your shit. Most Indians don't. We have to understand that. That's what I was trying to say like the other day to Red Action. Because I said capitalism is just feudalism with better PR. This topic hits very hard. This topic hits very hard by saying this is because Indians understand feudalism bad, capitalism hence also bad. But Marxist theory says like feudalism leads to capitalism. It is not capitalism. All of that sort. So it's just like, was my bread and wine for almost 5... I love that you said not bread and wine and not bread and butter. Was a university for macroeconomics and government. You should be coming on the stream to teach and interview. We are doing interviews these days. But it's not going to go great for me. No, seriously. But that's why I like, okay, so I think you understand, like I am like more or less in a position of teaching science basically. So if I am too mouthy, if I'm teaching in like too much detail, people get bored. People are like, we basically don't understand the literal basics of this, and now you're coming into me with like extreme detail, and it ends up being like they just check out. I don't want that to happen, because this is again a live stream. We are expecting more people eventually, and if I'm explaining too much live, they're just going to check out. But that's, if you think I'm wrong, just tell me and I'll start explaining more.
By changing the methodology. They have attempted to address data source problem by adding a number of new data sources, but we will not know until, because finally the proof of the pudding is in the quality and plausibility of the numbers that come out, and it's too early to tell. Too few numbers to tell.
It's really not that early to tell, to be very frank with you. The reason why it's not too early to tell is because IMF have already given us a see. We can see this within the economy as well. People in itself do not have the money or the increase in lifestyle that should ideally have come from being the 4th largest economy in the world. Like, again, not getting into too much detail, but if you just compare it with the other countries, like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, like in US, China, you can compare it to the UK, even Russia. People's lives are far better with a bigger economy than India's. Japan is far lower when it comes to the GDP total. And the lives of the people are far better overall. Their density is nearly the same.
In other words, we need to wait a few years, and only then can we pass a reasonable judgment on the new methodology.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's then look at the problems with the old methodology, which came into operation.
Yeah, I know. No, you're doing great. I like the aura of the stream. Thanks. But if I'm not saying, oh, raw vibe is whatever, don't worry.
In 2015. And if I understand the article you've written for the Indian Express,
like, have you ever seen me say vibe
today correctly? Primarily, there were twofold problems. First, it did not have an adequate way of calculating growth in the informal sector, which accounts for pretty close to 45% of the economy. What was the error there?
It was, Karan, not so much an error maybe as a lack of data sources.
Part of good aura, I suppose.
And maybe some kind of, they could have been more imaginative in substituting for the lack of resources. So let me explain why. As you said, the informal sector around 2012 was about 45% of the economy. And so to proxy the informal sector, they use data from a formal sector. Now, the point is that before 2015, that's not unreasonable a methodology, because the formal sector and the informal sector over broad periods of time do broadly similarly. And actually the data bear that out. If you look at, for example, sales, before 2015, for the period 2010 to 2015, sales of the informal sector and the formal sector grew similarly. So one can proxy the other quite accurately. After 2015, we know that there were 3 major shocks that affected the economy: demonetization, the introduction of the GST, and COVID. And the key point is that these 3 shocks disproportionately affected the informal sector, so that the fortunes of the informal sector and formal sector diverged very sharply, in which case using the formal sector as a proxy for the informal sector turned out to be erroneous, and the wedge between those two was quite substantial. For example, the formal sector grew at 10% in nominal terms, the informal sector grew at 5.5% to 6%. So that immediately shows the magnitude of the misestimation of the informal sector.
So for many of those years, we were overestimating the performance of the informal sector.
Yes. Also, now they are just adding more with the informal sector as well. Like, I don't think they're going to cover this, but this was in news a few, like 2-3 months back. They will be like bloating up the informal sector a little bit more.
We were overestimating the performance of the informal sector, and because the informal sector is such a large part, we were overestimating overall GDP as well.
Now, the second problem with the old methodology,
how I explained to a 5-year-old daughter of a friend about PPI and GDP. Imagine you eat chips now. Imagine that they give you a bigger package but less chips. You think you buy more but eat less. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. Just, yeah, that makes sense. That actually does make sense. Actually, I mean, if you want to talk about PPI, I just have never actually thought of this. Maybe be like, go to her and just have a pot of money over there or pot of chips over there and be like, for all the work you do, you're supposed to take one chip, then get a bigger pot and be like, oh, now the pot is bigger, but you only still get one chip for the same amount of work. Maybe that, but that kind of, I don't know. I've actually never thought of this, especially with a 5-year-old. But why do you want to explain that to a 5-year-old? I imagine. I don't know, like, if a 5-year-old came to you with like, oh, please explain to me PPI and GDP.
Was the deflator. It used the wholesale price index, which after the oil price plunged, understated
also
inflation.
Adulterated chips. Oh my god, that is a whole different ball game to go into right now. That is like every single shit you buy in India is already adulterated.
And doesn't really capture prices in the services sector. Again, can you more fully explain the problems this created?
Yeah, at the risk of getting a bit technical here, so the way we, a large part of the measurement, the way it happens is you measure it in, nominal terms, how much it grew in money terms. But to back out, how much, just to give an example, let's say the steel sector, the revenue grew by 10%, let's say. What you want is how much did steel production grow up by? So you have to say correct for the price increase in order to back out, how many quantities, how many tons of steel were produced. So this methodology of, having to deflate the nominal values, you need prices. Now, what ideally you need are producer prices because you want to calculate how producer inflation changed. But in India, we don't measure those. We haven't been measuring those. So we proxy that. And in this case, they were being proxied by the...
No, she said that she wants to live in the US because she get more money. Then we talked that they actually get less money for the same amount of work. Oh, that. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Just tell her how much they are taxed. Just give her a pack of chips and say like, oh, I'm going to remove like 50% because they have like, in some places they're like 48% tax. So remove 48% of it, then remove everything she would be spending with respect to like healthcare, that because they have to buy their own, like housing, food and whatever. And at the end, give her just like a crumble of a chip or tell her that she owes you more chips. That should get her to understand what American economy is like. Like people are in debt, just like they have to go to debt just to survive. Like I don't know how even that is possible. Like in the hopes of getting paid later, they are in debt with credit cards. And they have to get more credit cards to assuage initial debt. It is horrendous. It is absolutely horrendous.
Wholesale price index. Now, again, the problem, Karan, important to remember two things. One, people might say, well, some cases, wholesale prices come down, some cases it go up. So on balance, they cancel each other out. What's the problem? The problem is twofold. One is that it turned out that in this period, the wholesale price was based.
Now we are taxed at 50% of our income. This wouldn't help. Also explaining whole life problems to a 5-year-old is pointless. As a teacher, you have to be on the same level as the students because of experience. Yes, exactly. That's why I'm saying that, like, because she wants to live in the US, you can just give her like a crumb and be like, yeah, I'm taking all of this. Because that's what the government does. I thought the idea was to tell her how the US economy works with respect to the people. because that was what I was getting at. Not to explain to her that some people are already in debt and etc. Just tell her you owe her chips just for looking at you. Sorry, she owes you chips just for being there. That actually gets that, like, give her a bag, take it away, and be like, you owe me more chips now.
Basically proxying for oil prices. So instead of actually using prices that reflected what you were trying to measure, they basically ended up being a proxy for oil prices. So you were using oil price inflation almost to deflate nominal values, which led to all these errors. And because these wholesale and oil prices declined by quite a bit, you understated inflation and therefore overstated real GDP growth. So on the question of going up and down, see, in this period, wholesale prices grew consistently slower than overall prices. So the bias was systematic. So it wasn't as if it went up once, it came down other times, and therefore they canceled each other. It was systematic one way. Inflation was measured too low, which led to real GDP growth being too high.
So once again, we were overestimating GDP growth. We earlier, when in the case of the first problem, overestimated the growth of the informal sector. Now, because inflation is understated, we're overestimating the growth of the GDP as a whole.
Yeah, and we were overestimating for those sectors where we were using the wholesale price as the deflator. So, for example, under the old methodology, some of the services sectors were being deflated by wholesale prices, de facto oil prices. So you could ask, what does, hotel inflation have to do with oil prices, for example? And so it became an inappropriate measure for actually deflating values in some of these sectors.
Now, the interesting thing is that the net result of these two problems.
The thing was to explain Faraday difference in money. No, I would actually be very interested in discussing types of financial systems like Islam's finances, socialist finances. Yeah, we'll get to it. We do that from time to time. Like, we generally would go, like, if the topic comes up, we would be doing it. We are also doing like thing with, what's the word for it? We are also doing like a thing with like teaching a course basically about socialism and Marxism and all of that sort. But that would be out in like few weeks, I guess. It takes time.
Is that growth between 2011-12 and 2023-24, you say, was overstated by something like 1.5 and 2 percentage points. In other words, when we claimed that we were growing at 6%, we were actually growing at 4 or 4.5%. That's a pretty sizable miscalculation, isn't it?
Yes. So just to be clear on, just to clarify one thing, is that we don't actually make any claims about any particular year because our methodology does not allow us to do that. What we can do is to measure the average growth between 2011-12 and 2023-24. That's a 12-year period. So over that 12-year period, we say the official data say it's 6%, but if you apply the corrections for the two kind of inaccuracies, the methodology and the deflator and the data source, you actually end up with growth of about 4 to 4.5%, which is substantial because the way to, I think, phrase it is, Karan, is to say 6% is close to gangbuster, spectacular. 4 to 4.5% is good, robust, but not spectacular.
Absolutely. The second result is an equally interesting one because when the 2015 methodology was applied backwards, it had the opposite effect. It underestimated growth between 1 and 1.5 percentage points between the years 2004-5 and 2011-12. Am I right?
Yeah. And Karan, it's worth kind of explaining that because this is something that people don't understand well. So there used to be, for that period, we had the old base for measuring that. Okay. And that was the official data until the 2015 methodology was applied. Then the government appointed a National Statistical Commission to actually say, what is the growth for that period when you apply the new methodology? they came out and said that, let's say the old series was saying that growth was about 8%, I think. They said, no, it shouldn't be 8% on average. It should be a bit more, close to 8.5%. Then when the government, ignoring the recommendations of the statistical committee, did its own thing, it brought it down not only relative to the old 8, but also relative to the old 8.5 to almost 6.9. That's almost a 1.5 percentage point difference between what either the old series or what the government's own commission said in a downward direction. And that was also somewhat odd, because if you look at all the macro indicators, because remember that was the India shining period where you could see,
Hey, Radhika, how are you doing?
palpably India was,
How's it going?
growing gangbusters.
We're
And
talking about the overstatement of the GDP right now. Wait, did he say that Indian economists do not measure a growth in comparison to? No, they do not. They do not. They do not. They have been told not to. See, the government wants to show continuous growth, so they are not measuring year to year anymore.
And all the indicators were showing that. So this kind of downgrading of,
I know. I fucking know. Yeah, I know, right? Indian growth right now is faked. It is only on paper. Indian growth, India is not the fourth largest economy by the way of actually being the fourth largest economy. It is the fourth largest economy by the way of being just lied to for everyone. Jesus. How am I supposed to explain this to you that we are so fucked? They lie to us every step of the way. Like, you think China as a country is like repressive to its people. It doesn't give you actual information. No, China gives you actual information. India is the one that is lying to everyone. Oh, by the way, Radhika, if you are... I have good news. We got affiliated on Twitch, which is nice. This is completely pointless because median growth is like median temperature of a hospital. Everyone is healthy but dying. Yes, I know. I understand your shock. It is horrendous. Anyway. Oh, by the way, guys, in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, there's going to be like a 30-minute ad. If you can see advertisements on Twitch, let me know what ad it was. Please. I have no idea how this is happening. We literally got affiliated today. I would really like to know what ad it's going to be. And I thought statistics is fucked. No. Russian statistic is far better than Indian statistics. Because at least. No, not 30-minute ad. Jesus Christ, 30-second ad. Sorry. There is a 30-second ad coming up. Tell me what ad it is. Radhika, Twitch is a platform that we are also live on. On Twitch, you can have all of this without the government's repression. Like recently, a channel got banned for 4 p.m. news by the Indian government. That cannot happen on Twitch, which is surprising. So Twitch is our backup. Like if ever our YouTube channel gets tanked, we will be on Twitch. On Twitch right now, we are also live. Do you see, like when you see on this screen? Oh, thanks. When you see on this screen, like above me right here, you see like this purple circle and next to you, there is red square. The red square is YouTube. The purple is Twitch. You can come on Twitch if you like. It is literally just like, it is similar to YouTube, but it's like only live streaming. So they can't ban us on Twitch if they want. They can ban us on YouTube. They can repress us on YouTube. They can repress us on Twitch because everything is live streamed. And recently we have like a few more followers, so we got like affiliated, which means we get paid, I guess, if people subscribe, like different subscription than YouTube. Here it's like follow, you can follow, and that is follow count, which is subscription on YouTube. But there's also subscription, like right now we have like chai wala tier for tea seller, then Chaukidar tier, and then non-biological tier. And then you can choose which subscription you want, how you want to subscribe, and all of that shit. So it directly sends money to me for like using it on the channel. Cheap view. I don't want view. I don't know if people have. If you have, oh shit, I forgot. If you have Twitch Prime, please use Twitch Prime. I'm still shocked. I hope people, at least Indian government, has actual data on state. They don't. It is medically stupid. It is very medically stupid. No, they are lying about it as well. Like they fudge the numbers every step of the, especially with the right wing. They have real numbers. They don't give out those real numbers. It's gonna look very badly on them. It's a problem. It's another level. Okay, guys, 20 seconds. You're getting an ad. Let me know what ad it is, please. I have no idea how this shit works. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Like I'm just gonna keep talking, I guess, to Radhika for 30 seconds while the ad is going on right now. So the whole thing may have been paused currently for the Twitch viewers. Like Radhika, do you get ads on YouTube? Because I can't watch my streams while they're live, and for other people I don't get ads because of premium. I mean, that is in case you have premium. Is the ad over, guys? Because I don't get to see the ad as it is playing, which is I don't know why. I think just you get the ad. Jesus, what is this ad? I see if this ad is anything other than like Amazon, because Amazon owns the platform, I'm gonna switch off ads. Absolutely pointless. Oh, you do get ads. What kind of ads do you get on this stream? Because it's good to know. And like there's a long way to go for YouTube subscriptions, and YouTube getting us paid for anything. It's like 500 followers and 3,000 hours basic, just to get the basic package of getting affiliated with YouTube. So it's like 2 years out, like literally 2 years out. I mean, like you might have Brave or something. Oh, okay. Zomato and My Trip. Okay. Bliss, I think that's because you're a mod. That's, I think, because you're a mod that you don't get ads. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. Sorry to keep bringing this up, but it's fundamental way to not govern, like 101 guide to fuck up a governing. I am stunned of this knowledge, and it's hard to stun me after saying, yes, thank you. That's what I've been screaming for this long. Welcome to Indian politics. We are fucked up to the core. Twitch, I won't get since I subbed and not getting ads on YT. Yes. Also, Bliss subbed for some reason. Also, Bliss is running on mobile, so no issue of ad block. No, I think that's just because you're a mod here. I'm sorry, Rene. I am so sorry, Rene. Like, you have to be introduced to Indian economics. We are so fucked. I know. That's why we talk about this shit.
Of GDP also turned out to be at variance with what the other numbers were indicating and at variance with what the government's own statistical committee said should be done.
Anyway, did you get an ad, David? Did you get an ad? Because like Rene can't see ads. Maybe you can.
Let me put it in terms that a layman audience would understand and appreciate. What the 2015 methodology did was to underestimate growth in the UPA years and overestimate growth in the NDA years.
No, not quite. No, be careful, Karan. Let's not get totally partisan about this. 2005.
But it has to be because Manmohan Singh really did underestimate the growth a bit. So he can be securing the future. He had such a strict way to calculate the GDP that if the GDP was, say, at 5% growth, like for example, he would show 3.3. He was an extremely conservative economist, and that's why like India's growth has been so voluminous within his period of time that you could have seen actual people like getting financial benefit for their work and labor involved. In the BJP government, it is completely opposite. For a meager growth of say 2%, they are showing like 8 to 10%.
5 to 12 is UPA years, but 2012 to 23 has 3 UPA 2 years as well. So it's 3 UPA years and 9 NDA years. And so that's kind of, if you want to be political about it. But yes, but in terms of the period, understated by 1.5, 1 to 1.5, 2005 to 11-12, and by 1.5 to 2 overstated from 2011-12 to 23-24. And in the second period, there's some amount of UPA rule and some amount of NDA rule, more NDA rule.
So let me ask you, what impact has this had on economic policy and planning between 2004-5 and 2023-24? If we have been relying on inaccurate GDP estimates, has that misled policy and planning?
No ads in different browsers. Okay, good. That's good then. I don't really mind. As long as like the ads are not too bothering you or something, I'm fine. Okay. We might like, I don't know. I'm not going to, I think, increase the ads more than 30 seconds. So we'll see.
So Karan, there are broadly two sets of problems with this misestimation, especially for the period after 2011-12. In real time, in say 2014-15 and 2015-16, when the economy was weak, some of us then in government were arguing for stronger fiscal stimulus, right? But the data was showing that growth is doing very well. So in a sense, policies could not.
So it's like one ad per hour of 30 seconds, like minimum time to show an ad of 30 seconds and maximum time between intervals, which is 1 hour. That sort of setting right now. So you will see ad per hour or something.
Not be appropriately calibrated to economic conditions.
I really don't like the ads, to be honest with you. The ads, like some YouTubers, some Twitch streamers have like continuous ads like every 10, 20 minutes or something. For me right now, like I'm a socialist. I don't want like Adani ad up to be playing or like again Zomato or Trip ad to be playing while we are shitting on Zomato and Trip or Adani and Ambani. And now I'm absolutely amazed on how poorly our government chose its allies. It's not like there was much choice, which they supported Gaddafi, then Yanukovych, then Maduro, then Khomeini. The more time goes by, the more Russian interstate agreements. See, they didn't choose allies. Okay, I'm going to be very clear about this. They did not choose allies out of nowhere. Yes, I mean no haram. Yes. The thing here is Gaddafi was against American imperialism. US, like, okay, I'm going to make a difference between USSR and Russia right now. Maduro was sanctioned so badly. That's why the economy suffered. It is not because of what Chavez did before him or what Maduro did himself. The similar thing is with Iran. Iranian economy is kind of debilitated because of the American sanctions. It is not because of like Russia chose bad allies. The only bad allies you can talk about is like, okay, India, because it fucked over its own economy. And the only reason India kind of fucked over its own economy is because of the right-wing government. And the right-wing government has been known to have ties with the CIA. The current prime minister was trained in the US, was trained for more like to undermine the Indian government. Because the US government did not, and the CIA did not like the Indira Gandhi government, which was the closest ally to Russia, the USSR at that point. So to destabilize India itself, the right-wing government was paid huge amounts of money so they can come into power and they can do all of this shit right now. Again, India before 2014 was very economically stable, very, with the Congress government. They did not lie on the books. Like our prime minister was a world famous economist that was gifted. Yep, now they are on changing the petrodollar game. Yes, the reason why that is happening as well, let me just get into that quickly, is because the petrodollar agreement that was done was not redone with after the Trump regime, and Biden didn't continue it as well, which means America is losing its sanctioning power very soon. This is the reason why they invaded Venezuela and now they're invading Iran. They want control. Like Morarji Desai, I'm not going to be like he's completely paid by, but after he became the prime minister. But the thing with Morarji Desai is like, he has rumors flying that he was very close with the American government. Very close. Right until he got into power. That was the issue, especially with him. The moment he became the prime minister, something flipped, because then he was like, okay, now I understand we have to do nuclear. And I give him props for that. But before that, he was called the mole in the Indian government for the Americans. It is a very well-known thing. There were multiple rumors against him that he's a mole. Similar to how there are rumors against Modi right now. You can check it out. This is very much freely available information about Morarji Desai. But again, something changed. Do you know the Savarkar CIA connection? I don't know the direct connection with Savarkar, to be honest. I have not read about Savarkar. I know that he's inspired by like Nazi regime. He's inspired by the Zionist, and he wrote Hindutva accordingly. I don't know a direct... Oh, shit. No. Hold on. It's not the CIA. It's the British. With Savarkar. It's the British. Hold on, Rene. I'll come to it. This is important. Savarkar, basically in his sorry petition or his apology, told the government, not MI6, told the government that I am your servant. I will be what you tell me to do. I would be much more helpful to you. Much more helpful to you as someone who's not in jail to control the Indian populace. He has written as himself in his apology and sorry petition. I do not know why people don't bring it up. Vajpayee was closest with Israel, by the way. Like, there is no direct connection to Vajpayee, but he was the closest thing you can have to Israel. I know I was more of a joke than a serious statement. No help of a revelation current, a state of business in India. Sad thing is that an Overton window closes on what happens with the world. Polarization, economics, destruction. Yes, exactly. That is, I agree with you so much right now. The thing, what we are trying to do is shift the Overton window. That is the whole point. There's a reason why I keep saying subscribe, share, do it. So at least like final goal of this is to shift the Overton window to the right direction. The right-wing government has been trying to pull the Overton window to the right. It's getting successful. Even the current opposition parties don't want the Overton window to shift towards the left. So that's why I was so tired. I was honest to God, I was fucking tired of no one doing anything. I saw people on the internet, like even streamers, even like YouTubers, never talk about left-wing politics. And that's why I was like, I am done. I don't want to just sit on the sidelines. I am going to be here, out here, talking about this shit. Like, I just couldn't take it. I was done. After what happened in Manipur, I was like, I can't just be on the sidelines with this. You cannot offer me any money. You cannot offer me anything that will stop me from doing this. Fascinated by fascist estates. Yeah. Can you explain nuclear deal controversy to me? Which one? There is multiple that are controversial right now. Do you want the Indian Shanti Bill? Do you want the JCPOA? Do you want the non-proliferation agreements that they made people sign? Which one are you talking about? Because like there are multiple ones that are problematic and currently can need to be talked about. Anyway, so like there is going to be dead air if I don't complete.
And so we got, somewhat inappropriate policies. That's one set of problems. The other was that because in real time the economy was showing that the numbers were showing that the economy was doing well, the urgency for reform was somewhat blunted. So these were two concrete impacts on policy making. But Karan, there's also, I would say, a broader issue here. See, when historians look back at these 20 years and they look at the numbers, they will say, well, this was a period where there was steady growth of 6 to 7%. And that would be a travesty of the reality of boom between in the aughties and deceleration after 2011-12. So just our understanding of the economy, it completely gets altered by whether you look at the official GDP series or whether you look at it more broadly using the macro indicators. Just our understanding of the economy changes.
MMS Excellent PM book by Sanjay Baru said during 2000 it was a good by alleged Sonia Gandhi didn't let it. Which one? Please name the deal during that. I have no idea what you're talking about right now. I'm sorry, I have not heard about this myself. Hold on, I need to check this out. Are you talking about? I have no idea about this. I have absolutely no idea about this. I've never heard of this before, to be honest with you. I honestly have never read The Accidental Prime Minister, to be very fair with you. Maybe that's the issue, because I didn't read the book. That book was just under non-proliferation treaty. The signing of it. See, it didn't matter. See, NPT, if it's about signing of the NPT, it does not matter because by that time, India already had nukes. So non-proliferation treaty was just like, oh, we are not going to do more, but we already have nukes. It doesn't matter. NPT is important for countries that don't already have nukes, like Iran, that they can't even start, which is a problem. India started, got it, it was perfect. Unfortunately, people do not understand that the end of industrial corporation in any form, capitalist exploitation or socialist labor corporation leads only to nationalistic protectionism in an economy funneling towards a militarization and economy as the only way for the fast economic growth. But as we with the fast carbohydrates in a biology, this leads to only problems with health of a nation. On point. On fucking point. Jesus Christ. Yes. I absolutely true. Dude, you're fucking smart as fuck. That's what I try to explain in so many words, to be honest with you. So, okay, Radhika, I understand. If this is about the NPT, it doesn't matter because we already had nukes. Because we already had nukes, it does not fucking matter because no one's gonna mess with us. So, the issue here is that with NPT, with respect to Iran, Iran does not have nukes. Ukraine didn't have nukes. That's why they are very easy to invade. They are extremely easy to invade. Because what are they gonna do? The current problem is that if you don't have nuclear protections, any country with nukes can just invade you. And if shit goes wrong, they can just say, like, we are going to nuke you if you don't give up. Because India already had nukes, again, because of Morarji Desai, I give him props to him. It didn't matter if he signed it or not, because we are still liable to keep them functioning. Because if you don't keep them functioning, they are going to explode. And nobody wants that. So we still have functioning nukes that make us not be invaded by, say, Pakistan, for example. That is never a problem. You can sign the treaty as many times as you want after you have nukes. So, I mean, Manmohan Singh signing that treaty is perfectly okay. It is perfectly okay. It does not matter because it does not matter. If he had signed the treaty before actually acquiring any nuclear power, we would have been fucked. That is all I can say to you. We would have been absolutely fucked. I hope I don't know any of the economy, because last 15 years were like looking into the abyss for me, like what's happening and can do nothing about it. Nowhere to run, even we are fucked. No, don't give up. I mean, I don't know the situation in Russia, let's be honest. But there's always something you can do. I mean, hell, move out. Literally, move out. We can claim we are fucked a lot, but it's all, like, this is not for you. This is, I don't know the situation with Russia. But if you are Indian right now, and if you're feeling the same thing, you can always go out, you can always protest. You can always make the government listen. Again, Rene, not for you. I've heard stories with Russia. I don't know how true they are, so don't fuck with the government right now. But even if we can do even a little bit, even if we can do just a small bit, it helps immensely. It will help immensely. If you talk to a person that and make their lives better, just by talking, it helps. It helps. At the end of the day, every one of us just wants things to get better. But we forget that when we are looking at the world, we can't see the minutiae of how we can actually help the people next to us. As long as you're doing that, as long as you just don't give up, even a little bit of happiness, even a little bit of care or empathy that you can impart on someone means a lot. Because maybe for you it doesn't matter, but for them it might mean the world. And that is what we need to be looking for, a sense of community. Because all of this has gone to shit because we have lost the sense of community. Baru said Singh negotiated it with enormous determination against resistance from the left parties. And again, it doesn't matter. I think Manmohan Singh actually understood that himself. MMS understood that, I think, himself. That once you have nukes, it just doesn't matter who gives a shit. They didn't. See, Radhika, if you ever want to talk against it, I'll tell you this. They did not take the current nuclear armaments that India has and remove them or made them unusable. They still kept them, so it doesn't matter. Well, I downshifted from large city to village and just live from land with small work as a programmer analyst. Don't know how long this will help me. I mean, with AI, like, I don't know what to tell you. Diplomatic breakthrough, left withdrew support, and the government faced the trust vote crisis in 2018, looked isolated. The deal ended India's nuclear isolation from the sanctions after the sanctions continued. Following Pokhran 2 and secured a waiver from the nuclear supplier group, but potentially Singh did not turn that into a long-term authority within the government or the Congress. Yeah, okay. I agree. Fine. Like, again, I'm trying to tell you, it does not matter. It absolutely does not matter. The point of nukes, like, you can ignore all of this. Just ignore all of this. I swear to you, I understand where you're coming from. I understand what has happened. He basically opened us up for trading with other countries. That is what you're trying to say. That is a good thing overall. Like, American sanctions are always bad. But the fact that he did not give up on the nukes is what we should be thanking him for. Like, I don't think, like, tomorrow, if Modi was asked, like, oh, you have to give up nukes, he'll give up nukes like tomorrow. That is the problem. I am sorry, Radhika, I can't give you a better answer here because, again, not prepared. No, Baru is wrong. Baru is wrong. That's what I've been trying to say. Baru is completely wrong. Don't even bother with thinking like that thing, the accidental precedent was literally a hit piece. Like, for all that he has written, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was not an accidental precedent. Sure, he might not have contested direct elections within this scope, but the fact is that that is how Indian parliamentary system works. With the anti-defection law, how MLAs are selected, and all of that bullshit. We spoke about this like 2 streams ago. The whole shit with Baru's writing right now is that he wanted to portray Manmohan Singh as someone who was not deserving of the position. That is absolutely not true. He was a decorated economist that has worked with the United World Bank, that has worked with like head of the SBI as well, I think. Like, he had such a long history of actually working for the Indian government. It is astonishing that he wasn't like the prime ministerial candidate in 2012 as well. 2014, sorry. Now, I do not fear AI. It is smart as a user is. I can do the work I did for a month in only a week. Now, AI for me is a tool. Its degradation of the youth and saddens me because people should be banned from using it before they learn how to. Yes, I agree with you. The issue here is, Rene, is that a lot of companies are trying to make this calculation that when it comes to AI, how much of a shittier job we can do until our customers still buy our product. So they are trying to fire more people overall. And be like, oh, like this loss of work, this like the more issues or more, what's the word for it? More bugs that are going to be seen and pass through into the final product are like perfectly fine. It's because they calculated GDP in like 12 years period. Yeah, I know, I guess. This thing, okay, this is a very good example. Like on YouTube, did you hear that a lot of YouTubers, like big YouTubers, lost their channels because of AI? Like, it's like a AI geddon right now on YouTube where people can randomly lose their channels and how much ever subs they have because of AI issue. My professor is making me read works of Baru, accidental prime minister, is described as a fab book. Yeah, your professor might be a Sanghi. Not even joking. Your professor might be a Sanghi. It is one of the reasons why I'm so pushing against myself, like actually delving into that book, is like, I know that book was written to disparage MMS. That book is written in that way. So I just don't want to. But I am me. I don't have an exam to pass. So please do it for your exams. Their content No. Their content wasn't dull. It wasn't dull. So what happened was, there's a lot of content thieves on YouTube. So what they do is just like grab content, like parts of it, upload it. What happened is this AI would look at these videos, even with small following, whatever, and be like, oh, that's the original, and the other one that was the actual original person is the one that is stealing content, and just kill the page. That's all. That is what was happening. That is happened with so many different people. Like people with like 200,000 followers and shit have gotten their channels deleted overnight over this issue. Because AI couldn't tell the difference between original content and the content that was stolen. That's it. There's already a problem with copyright claiming in YouTube. Like if someone claims copyright to our video right now on YouTube, I can't really defend against it.
Changes substantially.
Quite right. So there are two things that are important for people to remember. First, that because we had inaccurate estimates of how the economy was performing, our policies weren't always necessarily the best that they could have been. And secondly, in historical terms, when you try and understand how the economy performed, we were getting the wrong impression.
Exactly. And Karan, just a kind of maybe a different way of phrasing it is, see, in the last few years, you must have come across these frequent invocations of puzzles. Oh, if the economy is doing so well, why is private investment weak? If the economy is doing so well, why is FDI declining? If the private economy is doing so well, why are wages so weak? If the economy is doing so well, last year we were asking, why is there pressure on the rupee if we're growing at 8% and so on? So, and very clever people out there were giving very complicated and different explanations for each of these puzzles. What we say is that, using Occam's razor, simplicity, you can answer all these puzzles by just saying, yes, maybe growth wasn't as strong as the numbers indicated, and that would explain, albeit partially, almost all of these puzzles.
Absolutely. The first part of that puzzle was actually the wrong part. The economy is not doing as well as we thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on, what? Billionaires love AI just as much as they hate us peasants. Exactly. They're trying to replace everyone, by the way. We saw recently that there is a movement within billionaires to, they're trying to make plans to replace as many people as possible with AI, which is a huge problem.
Exactly. And Karan, if I may say, just, so that people don't, remember, we are not saying that growth was poor or weak. We're just saying it was good, healthy, but not spectacular. And so a different way
Let me just be clear. This is an ex-CA. He worked for the government. He cannot say anything against as per his contract, by the way, even after not being in the government for a while. I mean, I can't imagine that channel I'm following will be substituted with AI. For example, a channel with Russian engineer refurbish Chinese CNC machines so that its precision becomes same as top CNC from a Switzerland or British chef teaching. No. So the channel can just get deleted overnight. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They are not up here to make new content with AI. They are just deleting channels with AI. Like YouTube as a company is doing it because they had AI do this.
Saying this would be to phrase it would be to say, look, if you look at the official numbers, India was growing at maybe the third or fourth.
Once they replace all the jobs, they're trying to do that, by the way.
Fastest growing major economy in the world, and that was a source of national pride. What we say is that even if you adjust it along the lines that we're saying, India would be still amongst the top 7, 8, 9 fastest growing countries in the world. So all we're saying is that national pride may yet be warranted, but it does not require a statistical crutch.
But you're saying two other very important things which I'll underline for the audience. The economy was doing well, but not as well as we thought. And secondly, India should be proud of the fact that it was amongst the top 7 or 8 fastest growing economies, but it wasn't amongst the top 3 or 4. Those are two important correctives that should be underlined for the audience. Finally, Arvind Subramaniam, how important is it that what you call in your Indian Express article, the fog of the past, is dispelled and cleared by the new methodology which was adopted last month? We don't have the final answer as yet, but how important is it that that fog of the past should be dispelled and cleared?
Yeah, well, the fog of the past should be cleared because of our understanding of the past. But of course, hopefully, because of having seen the fog for what it is and having corrected some of the problems with the old which created the fog, maybe we'll get more accurate data, maybe we'll get data which is better suited to calibrating policies. And also, the reputational cost we have incurred, for example, the IMF giving us a grade C on our methodology, all that is also important to be, we have to get, maybe to put it crudely, we have to get at least an A minus, because not just for the substance of policy making, but also for our reputation, it's important that we move out of the statistical fog of the past.
Absolutely. Not only do we need accurate estimates of GDP growth because policy making depends critically upon it, but more importantly, India's reputation is also affected. We don't want the IMF to be keeping us at grade C levels. I thank you very much for the time you've given me. Take care. Arvind Subramaniam, stay safe.
Thanks, Karan.
Hi, I'm
guys,
Karan Thap.
we are going to have to head out soon enough. I'm sorry, I can't stay for longer. But I think we are going to be online tomorrow again, mostly because just covering the protests, okay? I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to run this ad very quickly, but I completely agree on what is happening with AI and robotization in the next step. When you can't make people work more, enslave more, you replace it with new form of slave. Yes, that is what they're trying to do. It's not that they can't make people work more. People want to work. They just don't want to pay them more. That is the only thing. I'm just going to run this ad, by the way, just cause. I know most of you don't get this ad anyway. So, we are going to head out now, mostly because... hold on, 30 minutes. I have to wait 30 minutes. I'll come back to you again tomorrow. We are going to keep streaming every single day until this, until we get to, I will type you in Discord my point of view if you want. Yeah, please do, please do. So the thing is, I am going to keep streaming tomorrow as well, so we can also talk tomorrow. It's no problem. As long as the protests are going on, we are going to be here. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye. I have to really go.